Hola amigos.
Presentamos este programa
pero con sentimiento de la calle.
In authentic Latin beat.
For all of my people, Negroes and Latinos, and even the gringos.
Pero si quieren saber un poco más de qué se trata, quédense unos minutos con nosotros.
Say it loud, I'm Latino and proud.
Don't stop the body round.
I say it loud, I'm Latino and proud.
When I'm on the mic, call your homegirls come.
Say it loud, I'm Latino and proud.
Don't stop the body.
I say it loud, I'm Latino and proud.
4 and 3 and 2 and 1. When I'm on the mic, call your homegirls
Please give it up for the Becca'S.
I believe you know everything you're gonna say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a surprise. Wow. Like we're truly speechless right now, but wow, thank you so much. That was just, just a reminder of, what we've been through and what we've been, it was just truly wow.
Hello, my name is Francisca Becca. Oh my God. I am from Dominican Republic. I want everybody to know that I am in the Juiceplus business for 7 years. And here is the man who the doctor say that he's not gonna be able to walk, and he had to be his recuperation. He will beginning 2 years when they discover what he got. He gonna explain to everyone how he come out from what he got.
Wow.
Here the man. Here he is.
First of all, thank you for having me in your call. It's so much things that I gotta share about my illness when I was sick, but I'm gonna start saying thanks to the family at Juiceplus. Thanks to my wife for introducing me to the Juiceplus. 2 years before I get sick. Really, I didn't know that was going to help me out so much. I remember when I get out from coma, I was in coma for a couple of days, I think weeks. I remember the first thing I asked my wife if I was paralyzed, because my whole body was paralyzed. I couldn't even move, couldn't even do like this, nothing. And then she touched me in my toes, in my feet, and she scratched me like this. And she asked me, can you feel this? I say, yes. She said, you're not paralyzed. And I promised her after that I was going to walk through my door whenever I get up from the bed.
Go ahead.
Bear with me because every time I say my story, I start crying. I remember all these things. So I promised my wife, I say, when I get home, I'm going to walk through my door and I'm going to be walking. And it happened 40 days after. Doctor told me that my recuperation or my rehabilitation was going to start 2 years to start to work. And when I came to my house, I started working through my door. I'm not going to keep talking because I get too excited. And my daughter have to say something about my illness or my sickness.
Becca.
All right, so I'm just gonna explain just very briefly what happened. So my dad was okay one day. This was on a Friday night. He was okay. By Sunday, he went out. He told my mom, I'm not sure, I'm not feeling very well. And we were like, okay, so, my mom was like, okay, so if you're not really feeling well, he was to the point that he needed to see a doctor. They take him to the doctor's office. They take him to the hospital on a Sunday. They didn't know what was wrong with him. They said, but we're going to leave you under observation only because it seems like you seem a little dizzy and you have imbalance. So fine. They left him. By Tuesday, as my dad said, and he can't remember much of it, but by that time he was almost in a vegetative state. He couldn't walk. He couldn't talk. He couldn't see. And it was to the point that I was like, okay, this is really scary. Like what's going on? I was simply just asking my dad, what's your social security number? Just so that I can fill out documents. He could not give me his numbers because he just couldn't speak. And whatever he was trying to say, we just could not understand him. Long story short, we were able to transport him. I said at the hospital, first of all, they were saying that it seemed like he was making it up. And I said, listen, I know my dad. I know he's not making this up. So we did transfer him over to the city. While he was in the city, we were, he really couldn't swallow either, but we were like, we know we needed to get Juiceplus into him. So when he did begin to swallow, my mom was like sneaking in the Juiceplus. Anyways, we did what we thought was what we had to do, right? So we were sneaking in the Juiceplus. We were putting it in, like he was able to do like purees. So the water they added some type of powder to make it a little bit thicker because water on its own would make he couldn't swallow. So we were sneaking in the Juiceplus through applesauce. However we can get it in, we knew he needed nutrition and we were going to do it, right? So we were giving him the Juiceplus and we saw just the fact that, like my mom, we've been doing this for over 7 years. You don't know what the future has for you, right? So the fact that he was having a proper nutrition and getting the correct nutrients into his body, I would say did all the difference 2 years later. We never knew what was going to happen 2 years later, right? And by him having the proper nutrition, it made all the difference. So we were thinking in the products. And then let me tell you, when he went back, they actually asked my dad to speak with other people that were there because of how fast of a recovery he made. Okay. And it was just incredible. And then after that, we were giving him the juice. And then the doctor one time came in and he was like, oh, so that's what has that. That's a Superman pills that you're taking, So it's just because of the proper nutrition, what he had, I think it made, like I said, all the difference. His recovery was so fast. It was like, they called it like a miracle. First, thankful. God definitely was, there. And we're so grateful. Number one, God. Secondly, Juiceplus, like I said, made all the difference. And what he had was Guillain-Barré, and he also had encephalitis. So they said this happens to 1 in 100,000 people. Okay. From somebody, some people don't recover from this. Some people, like they said, we were already getting ready to have long-term care in a hospital because they said it was going to be like 2 years before we were going to start seeing recovery for him. So to God be the glory, number one, I'm telling you, because this was, and then I'm just going to be very brief with my aunt. My aunt was a different type of story because my aunt did not really, we've always been with the Juiceplus. We were trying to tell her, take it. You don't live the best lifestyle. You don't live the healthiest lifestyle, but at least we felt, you're going to have some type of protection. Just take it. she was like, oh, whatever, you guys, whatever. One day she had a heart attack, 52 years old, heart attack. Ended up, she had all of her arteries clogged. She needed emergency surgery. From emergency surgery, she did not wake up. It was 5 days later. Actually, so in the first week, she had a heart attack, she had a stroke, and she flatlined, okay? So she was getting her nutrition through a feeding tube. You know, she eventually did wake up, but she was getting her nutrition through a feeding tube. And we were talking to the hospital. We were saying, please, like, I know that this is going to be good for her. We want to put Juiceplus into her system. And then we ended up getting them the research, showing them the peer-reviewed journals. It was finally approved. And when I tell you, when she took her first dosage, yes, this is it. So when they put the label on there, the moment she took her first dosage, that's when she fully, I'm not even lying, like, she fully made that recovery. She was just like, she was alert, like she woke up. Okay. And for the doctor, for the Presbyterian Hospital, one of the best hospitals in the United States, to approve this, that means that's huge. That's like huge. Okay. We did our job. We tried. And honestly, we would have been sneaking it into her as well, but we couldn't because we don't know how to mess with feeding tubes. But if it would have been like my dad, when we could sneak it into him, we did it. But with her, it was a little different because she couldn't swallow anything and she needed a feeding tube. And let me tell you, that video, I don't know if we have it, but it's that when they did that first dose, it was, oh my God, we were like, to God be the glory. So that's a little bit about how we do it. What happened with our family. Also, my daughter helps out. She's all about the Tower Garden. Let me tell you, her friends came over. They help plant. And it's such a beautiful thing that we can do it with the entire family. And how do we not share this? Like, how do you stop sharing? You know, because this has done wonders for our family and it made all the difference. Maybe if we didn't have Juiceplus in our system, maybe our story would have been different. Yeah. And for my aunt, like going back just very briefly with her, all those things that happened to her, she did have an amputation because she didn't have the proper nutrition, I would say. She did eventually get amped. She had an amputation, but right now you talk to her, you see her, she looks better than what she's ever looked. And there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't take her Juiceplus. Yeah, not a day goes by.
Thank you so much. Can I touch on one other thing about the doggy?
Yes.
I have my dog, the boy. I had two. Mm-hmm. The girl is still alive, but the boy passed away. But they discovered him that he had a heart murmur, and they say that it's better for us and for him to put him to sleep. I say, he looked at me like, come on, ask that a question. You're gonna do that to me? Mm-hmm. And I tell the doctor, if I give him a treatment, do you believe that he can be able to live a little bit longer? And the doctor say, okay, you're gonna live, but they're gonna cost you a lot of money for that treatment because it's a heart disease problem. Mm-hmm. And I say, okay, I will do. The only thing that I have to do is sharing more of the Juiceplus. And believe me, every single month, I pay a high money for the treatment that I have with the dog. And after that, my dog lived 2 years. After 2 years, he passed away. I give him a Juiceplus every single day because he has some story at one of the conventions they have that they give it Juiceplus to the dog and any animal. And I did the same thing that I learned in one of my conventions. And believe me, I joined my dog for 2 years after the doctor say that he's not gonna live longer. It's better for us to put him to sleep. That's the best decision that I could do,
And Francisca, I believe you shared with us that all the money that you used for your dog came from your Juiceplus check.
All the money. I finished pay, how much that's gonna cost? A lot of money.
Thank you so much, Becca'S.